Hi everybody, this is Orchid Dave. I'm back for another installment here on the channel. And today we're going to talk about watering the orchids. So if you remember, this is the orchid that I repotted last week. And as you can see, since last week, it's got a new leaf growing, but it's quite ready for water. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's kind of crunchy. So that means it's time to water. So let me go ahead and show you the proper way to water your Phalaenopsis. Pointer down here to the so you can see it down here. So I take the Phalaenopsis and I'm going to put it on kind of a tepid tap water here. Put it on spray, and I go ahead and get one side, the other side. And one thing you really want to avoid doing is getting water in the crown, like where that new leaf is growing. So, I water it, and I probably do this for at least 30 seconds. You want to make sure what happens is that the water flows all the way through and gets all the moss nice and moist. And plus, what this does, it helps to flush any salts that might build up from when you fertilize or just from the water itself and so forth. So this guy's just about ready. And like I said, you always want to avoid getting it in the tip, but sometimes, oops, you can't help it. Right? And so what happens is you get maybe some water kind of sitting in the tip of it there. You can kind of see it sloshing around. And so the easiest way to deal with it is first to just dump it out, and that gets rid of the majority of it. And if that doesn't get it all out, then a quick blow like that, and your Phalaenopsis is going to be fine. So this Phalaenopsis is now watered, and it'll probably be at least another week or so before I water it again. It just so happens I have another one here that I'm getting ready to water. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick too. This guy's got lots of new roots up here, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. Basically the idea is, what is my orchid trying to tell me when it's growing roots like that up there? So for now we're just going to give him a little bit of water. He wasn't quite as dry, so I'm going to maybe not water him quite as long. So these are the two orchids are now nicely watered. I'm just going to set them aside over there. Try my hands off just a little bit here. And then we'll bring the camera back up. All right, now we're going to go out in the backyard and we're going to do some more watering. So now you can see I've got a bunch of my orchids from the greenhouse outside here. And the reason I have them outside is I like to water these guys, and it makes it easier since my greenhouse is so crowded. But when I water them, I just have my hose here. This is just regular old tap water. I just hose them down. These happen to be some bulbophyllums here. I've got some vandas. And one of the things you'll note, for instance, about this, here's one of my vandas. You can see vandas have quite a root system. They hang way down, and you can see the roots, when they're dry, are white, like these ones on this edge here. And you can see the nice growing tips there. What happens is when you water a vanda, and this is because vandas live in the top of the canopy in the forest, and their roots hang down, and so you can see as the roots get wet, they get green. You can kind of watch it turn green as it goes. And so for a vanda orchid, you want to just let it run down the roots, and that's how you water your vandas. Now, anytime you water orchids, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and make sure you start off water them once so that they're nice and that they get moist. And then what you can do is you want to water them again, because what that does is the first set of water will help the roots to kind of open up so that they can capture the water, and then the second time they'll absorb more of the water. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit more here. And I've got all kinds of things out here. I've got bulbophyllums and vandas and dendrobiums and you name it. And I'm not afraid of getting the plant nice and wet because you're kind of simulating rain in a lot of ways, and so it's no big deal for the plant itself to get wet. In fact, it's probably helpful to it. Cools it down, makes it, again, one of those kinds of things that helps absorb water for the plant itself and so forth. So, okay, for now we're going to move into the greenhouse. Okay, so now we're in the greenhouse. You can hear the humidifiers going because it's a fairly warm day. It's in the afternoon, and so the humidity is probably pretty low, probably down in the 20% range outside. So some guys up here, and I just watered, I don't know, a few days ago, but because it's been so dry, like I said, our humidity stays in about the 20% range, even down into the teens and low teens during the summertime here in California. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just water some of the plants in here. And again, you probably don't have a greenhouse, but if you do, watering is just like you would any other plant. And so what I'm going to do is show you that just real quick. So I just take my hose. You can see I've got my masdevallias here. And they're in bloom. You can see I got a lot of stuff in bloom right now in here. Now what I like to do is I like to hit the mounted plants first so that they'll absorb a little bit more water and so forth. And that way get them going so that they'll be able to absorb when I water them the second and third time. And this is generally how I go ahead and water. But the main point of this video today was really just to show you how to water your Phalaenopsis. Because that's what most of you are going to have. You're probably not going to have vandas, you're probably not going to have masdevallias, and a lot of these various other orchids. But you probably will have Phalaenopsis. And so that is the proper way to water them. So this is Dave, and hopefully you enjoyed this.